Here's the question. Why religious compatibility matters in relationship. In today's podcast, Cece and I, we're going to go over some of our views on the topic. So stay tuned.
Hey, Blissful friends, welcome back, or welcome if you are new here to another episode. I am your host, Cece, and as always, I'm joined by my wonderful co-host here, hubby. What's up, babe?
What's up?
So silly.
Everybody, this is Will, and welcome back to another episode. It's always a pleasure to have you guys with us. Again, as Cece mentioned, if this is your first time here with us, we want to welcome you. Also, I want to remind you, please remember to subscribe and hit on the bell icon so when videos like this one come out, we can let you know. Now, this is a weekly podcast where we talk about...
Yes, y'all. We talk about love, life, family, relationship. It's so awesome to have our new subscribers here. I know we got some new subscribers. We thank you for joining and thank you for subscribing.
As always, before we get into the topic of the day, we always like to share something blissful that either happened to us or we did during the week.
So, I have a blissful moment. What was it? Thursday morning or Thursday? Yes, Thursday, right? While we were eating breakfast, I should say, we were talking about some stuff. And of course, we had our devotionals. And then while we were talking, and the kids and I were talking about career, have a stable career job and you have a business if you want to. And my daughter, our oldest, loved writing and doing her arts and stuff. And she was like, well, mommy, as you know, I want to become a writer. And I was like, of course, baby, we would know that. And I was like, well, AI is taking over all that jobs. So you got to make sure you find something stable just so you know, because that I'm pretty sure by the time you're ready to work or to, get that business going, they might take over. And she's like, and the little one was like, well, what we're going to do, we're going to get a bucket of water and splash these robots. And she was like, when they come to the restaurant, mommy, we're going to get something. We're going to throw a cup of water at them so they can go away, so they won't take people's job. Literally, that's what they were telling me. And I felt like it was so interesting and so like the way their mind worked was so fascinating.
We got to be cautious now. There's a restaurant that we go in. They usually have this robot that goes around and does stuff. That seafood place.
Yes.
If we ever take her there, we got to watch out. Make sure she's not splashing water on the people's robot.
Yes. And she said she will be doing that. She said, we got to throw water at these robots so they don't take people's job. And I was... All right.
So we got to make sure she didn't go around. I don't want to be paying for nobody's robot right now.
We went to BJ's. I went to BJ's Saturday.
They have an inventory robot that goes around and keep an eye on the things on the shelf.
Listen, them kids say they're going to throw water at
these. There's a lot of scuff marks on that robot. I think people's been hitting it with the shopping carts. Yes. When was that? The other day when I went in and I forgot the card, I ended up not shopping, but the robot was going around. The base is white and there's a lot of scuff marks.
Well,
on there, so I think people's been hitting it with the cart.
Yes, because it took somebody else's job. This was someone's job.
But you know what? They design these things with a lot of thoughts and make sure that they're not interfering with us. If you coming by and the robot sends you, it just stops.
Yeah.
Let you go by and then it starts moving again.
Scary. It does. And listen. I told my daughters, hey, listen, like what you just said, babe. We're not responsible.
So make sure she has no water close by that she can go and pour into people's robots.
This is her plan. So she want to make sure that when she becomes a writer, that no robots gets in her way.
She's going to need a whole lot of water.
And her sister says she's going to back her up.
And AI is not in the form of a robot. So she's going to have to figure out somewhere to splash water on those programming code. But anyway.
Yeah. It was so interesting. It was so funny.
Kids, they think differently than we do.
They do.
But there are people in real world that are thinking that they can go and take on the robots,
Yes.
And people like hitting electric cars thinking that that's going to make them stop making them. People are going in parking stalls where electric cars can charge thinking that that's going to make people are like unusual. Anyway, that's my rant. I'm just expressing my frustration with people thinking crazy. But hey, the kids have every right to think that way because they're kids.
Yes, and they want to have their business without having these robots taking over. So they have the right to do so and to say so.
They're young enough, they can witness what's going on and they can pivot to something different.
That's true.
Than what AI could do.
Yeah.
And I think in this world, as things happen, us people have to think of ways to reinvent ourselves. Because AI is not going anywhere.
It's not.
So neither does electric cars.
But my daughter says she's going to pour water at these things. She's going to splash them.
She's going to need a whole lot of water.
She's going to get a whole lot of it. Okay.
But sometimes they make these things waterproof too. So
okay. So then what we going to do now? What's your Blissful Moment, babe? Easter?
Easter, yeah, it was good. You know, we spent some time. I ate some food.
Yes.
We had some fun. We had some political discussion.
Yeah, some great ones too.
Yeah, it was good. It was a tiring week though.
Yeah.
But you know, I didn't feel it. I didn't. Maybe I'm feeling it this week.
Yeah, I can tell.
Because I've been tired. Like
I noticed.
When I get home,
I noticed.
But it was good. I mean, we did it. Because the commitment was to make sure that we take part in every services that happened during that Easter week from that Monday all the way through Sunday. And we didn't miss a bit. We were there every day. And the kids were there. Yeah. Your mom took a day off.
My mom took 2 days off.
Your mom took 2 days.
Thursday and Saturday.
Oh, see, we didn't even take a day off.
Yeah, we did.
But it was good. I mean, part of our plan was to make sure that we really take part.
No, she was there. She was there Thursday.
She was there Thursday.
She was there Thursday. Yeah.
But it was good. But Sunday was a blast.
Yes.
It was a celebration. Obviously, we went to church, and after church, we came home, finished up what Sissy was preparing to bring, and
macaroni.
We went and got it together.
We're there until 10:30.
Yeah, but it was good.
We had a good time. Kids had a great time, with their eggs and finding the, the little scavenger hunt this year.
Egg hunt.
Yeah, you went there.
No, I was.
You were too busy.
I was busy having grown-up conversations.
Whatever.
You just gotta have grown-up conversations.
Yes, but Easter was great, and I hope you guys had a great Easter as well. And thank you all for your comments. I see them. Thank you. Easter was great, and now let's get into the topic of the day, which is religious belief. Yeah.
What impact should that have on your relationship? Now, this topic, it can spark some debate and sometimes some even heated discussion.
Yeah.
Just like politics, religion is a sensitive subject. Now,
it is.
Can you date someone with a different religious belief? And as I said, this is going to be interesting.
It is going to be interesting, y'all. It is going to be interesting. Listen, as I was putting this together and I was thinking about, imagine, a new couple out on Valentine's Day, enjoying their date. We were both.
Blind date or they've met before?
I mean, they met before.
Okay.
We're both nervous. But you trying to set the mood, get your romantic music going on and trying to set the mood with candles.
At a restaurant or at home?
Either or.
Okay. I'm plotting where this romantic dinner's happening.
And then you're ready to dive into a very deep conversation.
Trying to find out what's going to happen after dinner.
Or you hear the question.
Yeah.
How often do you go to church?
I look you straight in the eye and says, whenever you want me to. But yes, when you're in a setting like this, it's whatever you want me.
I mean, I put you in a spotlight. I asked that question.
Oh, yes, it is many people that question will throw off. And I'm sure many of us have run into this where like, what kind of question that is? At some point in our lives, we all have faced it. Now, I've always been a church-going person. So you ask me something like this, I'm just going to answer you straight up.
And
I go to church every Sunday I can.
Okay.
Yeah, and that won't throw me off because going to church is not an issue for me. But we all have run into this where that question can throw us off because you don't expect to be asked that. Now, hey, listen, we can run into whether it's a different denomination within the Christian faith or even an entirely different background altogether.
Faith background, yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Navigating relationship when it comes to religious belief can be quite a journey.
Yeah.
And a challenging journey as well. And it's not just about personal belief. It often extends into cultural traditions, family dynamics, and even future planning. You know, am I getting married in a church or am I gonna go by the beach? So, but you know, as we get into this, so babe, let's let me pick your brain.
Okay.
Or let me see where you stand on this.
Okay.
Can you date someone from a different religious background? Well, that's hypothetically speaking, because you're married to me already. So technically, you cannot date anyone. But if you could, would you?
Well, knowing me, I probably wouldn't.
Okay.
Knowing me, because I strongly believe in my religion. I strongly believe where how my mom raised me in the Christian world that, you know, she brought me into. But it would be hard for me to really like date someone outside my religion. Yes, for sure. But I feel like it's, you know, it's possible.
Okay.
Right?
Hard, but possible.
It's hard. I believe it's possible, but it's definitely going to require a very solid foundation. And I truly feel like, of course, we talk about this a lot on this podcast and open communication. And of course, you got to be willing to understand where each other's coming from. Like, for instance, if I was dating someone with a different religion, I don't think we'll be able to go to church every day last week. You
Probably
know,
not.
Especially with the Holy Week. And I think you being not seeing where I'm coming from would have been hard for me to
help me see value in.
Correct.
And spending all that time after work, you get home, you just quickly eat something. There's one day I ate while she was driving me to church. 2 days. She prepped the food. I get to the house. I quickly showered. She actually drove me to church.
Yes, I did. And I know, but I sometimes do. I don't know why you make it. But I want to say this because if we were different belief, different background, it would have been hard. It would have been hard. And I feel like, too, if you want to throw the kids in there, it would have been very confusing for the kids because they don't know what mommy and daddy, well, they know mommy and dad is, mommy is this, daddy is this, and where do I fall into? Yeah. 1 week we go to this church, the next week we go to daddy's church. I mean, there's people that I know that we both know, they make it work somehow. And I think, you know, with communication and of course, understanding where each other's coming from. But however, it is hard. And I think when you have someone who don't see value in your belief, it tends to bring you down. Because, you know, you're not encouraging me or I'm not encouraging you to really like push through and let's go to church or let's just give it a try. There's people who don't really like see the need of going.
We have people in the world like this, but you know, what I said to this is that when two people care deeply for each other, they'll find ways, you know, and being able to communicate, being able to, you know, approach this with an open mind.
Yes.
You could have different religious belief, but if something's important to your partner, you'll find ways to make a sacrifice.
Yeah.
You know, and you gotta look at it. Sometimes those differences that you may have, they could be what actually enrich your relationship. You know, it gives you an opportunity to really learn and grow with each other, both as an individual, but also as a couple.
Yeah.
So it embrace those differences and make them work to your advantage.
Yes. And if you truly love your partner, the person that you're with, you're definitely going to find ways to make it work. However, I truly feel like my partner also has to be, I'm not talking about you got to be spiritual, right? Because I truly feel like I truly know that I am a spiritual person. But I'm saying this, we we really need to know that where we stand. Like, what do you believe in? Who is your God? You know, what do you believe in? And yes, you may not go to church every Sunday, but do you even listen to, do you even own a Bible? You see what I'm saying?
You know, earlier you mentioned you got to have a strong foundation, and that's key. Because when you know where you stand, when you're solid where you are, you can not only defend your position, but you wouldn't let the other person, you wouldn't take offense in what the other person says because you know where you are.
Right.
So when you look at it, these differences, you got to learn to embrace them.
Yes.
And recognize that your love can take you beyond these differences.
Right.
You know, including those differences in faith. So, but of course, you know, it's not without its challenges.
It is very much so. As you were talking, I was thinking about one of my clients who was a friend. Well, she was a friend and then became my client.
Okay. I thought she was no longer your friend.
She's still my friend. Gone. We just don't talk much anymore. And she was telling me, I'm sure she listened to the podcast, and she was telling me that she had a boyfriend, right? The boyfriend doesn't believe. But she's a true Christian girl.
I'm talking about crazy.
I'm talking about girl who wear dresses, skirts, head wrapping, like
no
dresses.
Perm, no perm Christian.
No perm. You know her. No perm.
Earring Christian.
None of that.
Hat wearing Christian.
Yes, and I'm talking about, mind you, we knew each other way back. I'm talking about way back. I mean, like in Haiti.
No open toe shoe Christian.
No. Well, what do you mean no open toe shoes? What does that mean? I'm talking about a Christian girl who truly, like, Jesus is my husband kind of girl. And she was dating someone. They were dating for like a good 3 years.
They did it that long and is an unbeliever?
No, right. Because she loves him though. She really, truly,
he could do something right.
Hey, she truly, really wanted to see if this was going to go, you know, somewhere. And of course, over time and nothing happened, and she was like, let's listen to see, we really had to come down to something where I had to, like, I just can't continue this anymore, because she really wanted marriage. She saw a relationship with this guy. It seems like he wasn't willing to, you know, what's the word, compromise with her. Like, hey, let me just get up one Sunday and go, because she would go to church without him. She would not miss a Sunday. And I feel like this girl is one of those girls where I'm going to be there regardless if you don't want to come with me. So yes. And unfortunately, you know, after 3 years, 4 years, they had to call it quit.
I'm surprised she stayed in that long.
Well, because she believed in him. She had faith. Okay. She had faith knowing that things are going to change. Unfortunately, things didn't change. I mean, you got to give it a certain amount of time and see if this person's going to budge. But if they don't budge, and you're like, okay, well, now I know I did my part. I give it what I needed to put in, you know, I put my work. Now, if it's not doing its part, then
listen, I believe if you see value in something, you can exercise some patience. 3 years, I don't know if it should be that much patience, but obviously it worked for her. But I'm sure she had her heated moments. I'm sure there was a moment of tension where she probably confronted him as to why you couldn't, and whether it was a misunderstanding on his part that didn't quite understand the power of God, or he was just one of those atheists. That could be the case.
Yeah.
But I wish her well.
Oh, she's doing well. She's doing good.
Yeah,
okay.
I wish her well.
And I think it's good for any young people who are in their 20s, 30s. If you're dating someone,
40s and 50s.
Hey, listen, but I'm just saying, if you are dating someone, it's always good for you to find out, hey, what is your religion? I mean, who do you believe in? Who is your God? It's always good for you to know these things. And if you know that this is important to you, then that way you don't waste your time. Because if you didn't believe, I don't think we would be here today. We would not have been here today.
Absolutely not.
If you're one of those people that just like, hey, I'm just, I don't know what I just go.
No.
Or I barely go to church.
We wouldn't be together.
No. Because I
but we could have been together for a very short time.
Yeah, for sure.
Have a good time and then. But yes, I mean, you have to be compatible
Right.
in that front. Otherwise, yes, you may have something for a short period of time, but it won't last long. Because for the amount of Bible you keep buying and everything's kind of have a scripture attached to it, I had to be in a position to be able to understand that, to be able to stick around.
Well, yes.
Good thing I'm a clever man. I get things quick.
Yes, you do.
Hey, listen, you mentioned compromise earlier, and it's important. When you're in a relationship, you gotta learn to compromise. Meaning that if I wasn't a religious person, I love you and I want to be with you, I'll do my best to understand where you're coming from and maybe becoming a religious, because there's nothing wrong with being a religious person. Now, I know religion has its own fault and all issues and so forth, but it's good to belong to a community. It's good to be able to pray and worship with the person you love, right? So finding ways to honor each other's belief is important, and also staying true to yours. Now, we could have different faith, but there is having faith and there is having no faith at all.
Right.
Yes, and I tell you, within the realm of Christianity, many of us think that we're different. We're not. Catholic and Protestant, we still believe in the same God. Sometimes I don't see why we make it a big deal, but we still do. So, but it's good to respect each other's faith and each other's values. And at the end of the day, you'll reach a point where you can find a balance. A balance where we can still function, we can still do the things we normally do. Yes, sometimes you will find yourself attending things in different buildings, in different cities, different places. But if you find that balance, it'll work out.
Yeah, I agree,
But you have to be willing to compromise a little bit.
Or a lot big. Because my dad had to compromise. Because, when my dad was dating my mom, he was a different type of...
Your dad was hunting. He was hunting.
Dad, you hear that, right?
Yes. And he had to go where your mom was to find her. And obviously he found her and wanted her. So he just moved over.
Yeah.
Your dad was like flexible.
Well, he was young and good looking man.
He was flexible.
That is not anymore. He still is.
He was flexible.
Yeah.
Wherever I find my one, I'm going there.
I don't even know what religion when my dad was when he was doing that. I think, like you said, he was fishing,
No, I said hunting.
Oh, hunting. Okay.
Yes. Fishing is too soft.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your dad was hunting. He had spears and guns and stuff.
Oh my God. Were you hunting, baby?
No, you found me.
Oh, okay. I found you. Excuse you, sir. I
didn't go to other churches though.
You didn't?
So I didn't. So I wasn't hunting.
You sure?
Absolutely.
You told me yet you were not Catholic. You were a different religion.
No. In my family, we have some. Those of us are Catholic, like my mom is, but her sisters are not. That allows me to experience other faith, and I've had friends who are, and I'm open to visit, because at the end I believe we all serve the same God. So making it a big deal where you better, or I'm better than you, or you do things this way, no. I think at the end of the day, if we can worship God and be able to pray and live with each other the best way we could, that's what matters. So I'm open to stuff, but I wasn't going to different churches, dealing with little young ladies there. No, that's not my style.
I doubt it.
Listen, ultimately it's about seeking guidance and make sure you stay true to your faith.
Yeah, and I also feel like it's about trusting, your own intuition and discernment. Yeah. Me, how I feel about a lot of these young ladies out there. Stay true to your faith and listen to your intuition. And I truly feel like if you feel something is not right, get out. And I've been telling my daughters, intuition is another way of God telling you, don't do it. If you feel like he
might be telling you to do it.
If you're second guessing yourself, then that means no. It feel like, is it true? And my daughters already know. If it's me guessing myself, and I already know it's not God. But if I'm at peace making the decision, then I know that, hey, I'm at peace. I'm okay with it. So I'm moving on. And you really have to know. You really have to know if this is something for you. If it is for you, then great. If it's not, you move on.
Yeah. On that note, what I say is every relationship is unique.
Mm-hmm.
And what works for me, for you, may not work for you.
Yes.
You just have to understand that we are different.
And we know some people that have different religion where marriage doesn't go far, right? We know a few people.
Yeah. I've known people as well that are different religions where things are running as smoothly as possible.
Yes.
And this is where I'd say we are all unique.
Mm-hmm.
Find what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Just remember there's a few things you're going to have to do in terms of compromising and understanding and all the other challenges that you may run into. You have to be willing to put up with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say as we wrap up, this thought-provoking discussion about religion, it's always a thought-provoking. We want to leave, you guys with a reminder that love knows no boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
If you love this person, it doesn't matter if they're an atheist and you like a hardcore believer, you'll find ways. Whether they will swing over your way and become a believer, or you'll swing over their way
What?
and become a non-believer.
Listen.
Whether you share the same religious belief or not, what truly matters is the love. The respect, the understanding that you have for one another. And that will allow you to compromise a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
And just like your dad did, move over to your mom's religion. And he's happy. Although there are certain services your mom goes, is like, I'm just going to hang out in the car.
Well, at least he's there. At least he goes.
Right?
Yeah, but I think sometimes he does goes in. He go in to see what's going on. And
yes, but that's not kind of his thing. I'll tell you, if your mom wasn't going, he wouldn't be going.
Yeah, you already know.
And this is where the compromise is important. You sometimes you would do things because it's important for your spouse.
Right.
So, and it's very important to remember that if you navigate a relationship with someone with a different faith, stay true to your own value, right? Because you have your value. You can never lose yourself because of the other person.
Right.
Now, you do have to keep an open heart and always communicate openly and honestly.
Mm-hmm.
If that person is doing something and you're like, yeah, that's not quite, no, it's okay to express your how you feel about it, not in a disrespectful way. I'm talking about having open and honest conversation, but make sure that you're not offending this person in any way. Sometimes we can choose the wrong word to say what we want to say. But I say, if you love this person, you would find the best way to have that conversation. But keep it honest. Don't keep doing things that you hate and you're complaining to your friends about. When your spouse is there, you're like, yeah, that's the best thing I do. And the moment that they're not there, you're like, man, I can't believe I'm doing that stuff. Right?
I agree because, listen, religion is a very, very big issue, and it can break relationships and it can break marriages. And I think, if we both are on the same page, if we both really understand why we in this and who we doing it for, of course, for God, it can work.
Oh, it will work. And there's countless examples where that works.
Yeah.
Again, it's not without its own challenges. It's challenging. But again, as I said way earlier, if you care deeply for this person, you would find a way to make it work.
Now, if you both are not on the same page, as I mentioned earlier, with the whole foundation thing. Now, if you both are not on the same page, it can cause a crack in the foundation of the relationship. Don't you agree?
Frictions is a problem.
Yes. Now, if there's a crack on the foundation, babe, what's going to happen?
Well, if there's a crack on the foundation, we're going to have to get a foundation specialist in to fix the foundation.
And who would that be? A psychologist or
listen,
a pastor, priest?
Foundation is important on anything. If the foundation is not stable, if it's cracked, that means everything that sits on top of it will fall.
Or break.
So if your inability to see things or to make things work cause the crack on your foundation, then you don't have a relationship.
Yeah.
You just don't.
You can't even patch it.
You can get some specialist in, maybe some religious counselor, or
Your
maybe
priest,
some
your pastor.
relationship counselor, someone who can help you see that although you're different, you can still be with each other. Maybe that could be the specialist that fix your crack, but I don't know what to tell you.
If there's a crack, that means it leaks, right?
Well, there'll be some leaks, if you have a crack and you have some plumbing that runs to the foundation and the foundation's cracked, that means your pipes are cracked, and I'm going nuts on this. But, and obviously we're using this as an analogy to show that you have to build your relationship on solid ground.
Yes.
And solid grounds means that you are operating in harmony with each other.
Okay, let me ask you this before you move on. How soon can someone talk about religion in their relationship?
As soon as it makes sense for you. Some people, it may be doing the first date. Hey, I'm a church going person. In fact, I just came from church this morning before meeting with you. Others, it may be, a few weeks down the road. But I think it's a conversation that needs to be had.
You think months?
I don't know if it's months, because, hey, listen, if I'm a church going person, most likely if we're dating, I'm going to be telling you about what's happening in my church, and I'll probably invite you to come to church.
What if you're like in your 20s?
Well, if you're in your 20s, you're probably just messing around. So I don't think church will be something that comes up, because typically relationship at that age, they're very, very shallow. It's just testing to see what's out there. There's usually no like long-term commitment in those type of relationship. Usually, I'm not saying not always. There's usually, because sometimes at that age, we met in our 20s. Yeah, we could have been testing things out. Yes, but at that age, many people they're testing to see what's there.
Yeah,
and sometimes they're just trying to find who they are.
Right.
And at that stage, it's up to you. But if you're planning on dating to make something out of that dating, the earlier you know, the better.
Right.
This way, you'll know, hey, am I wasting time? Because if you know that religion or belief is a non-negotiable for you, then the sooner you know, the better you can make a decision. Should I continue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because imagine you as a girl want to have a church wedding, and he's like, no, we're going to have it at my church. And before you know it.
Or maybe you go to Vegas and have the wedding. Who knows? But anyway, hey, listen. We've discussed... Obviously, we're very big in our religion. Where we started talking about Easter, that we are big in our religion, and we've shared the importance of not so much being in the same religion, but the importance of understanding each other. And if you could do that, it doesn't matter which church you go to, it doesn't matter which God you believe in, which there's only one, by the way. You will do fine.
Yes.
But you have to be able to understand each other and be able to listen to each other and be able to not judge each other.
Yes.
I can't stand when people judge people just because of religion. But anyway.
I agree with you. And I think at the same time, it can be a deal breaker for others.
Yes. But as you go through your relationship, find out what works for you.
Yes.
And if you're willing to compromise, which I think you should, just learn to see where your partner is coming from. So on that note, we just want to thank all of you guys for joining us today on the Blissology Podcast. We can't wait to hear some of you guys share your experience. I'm sure you've probably at one point in your life dealt with maybe someone of a different faith. If that's the case, we'd like to hear how you dealt with it. Please remember to share, like, and subscribe to our podcast. This conversation is the first time we've had it on the podcast in terms of religion. So I'm hoping that we shared a lot of goodies with you guys.
Yes.
So until next time, keep attending whichever church you attend.
Keep going to church.
And keep believing.
That's right. Keep up the faith.
And stay blissful. So
yes. Bye.